Hello, welcome to my channel. You may have seen the video footage in Florida of a school where they pan the shelves and there's just no books on the shelves. So the books were just completely wiped clear because they were going to be checked to see if they were okay to put out. That's appalling. Well, today I thought we would go to bookstores around Chicago that are not afraid to rock the boat. Whether the bookstore is a bookstore that chooses to put forth the voice of people who aren't often heard or put forth as often as they should be. If it's a bookstore who believes in community and believes that everyone is entitled to literacy, or if it's a bookstore who believes in the power of the worker and believes that capitalism is perhaps not the best choice. So there's a couple of rules with buying books today. One, we are each only allowed one book at each bookstore. Two, the book has to be from the staff recommendation list. The goal is not to get stuff that's on our TBR or stuff like that. It's to challenge ourselves with something that perhaps we haven't read before, an idea that we maybe haven't considered, and so we're going to look through the staff recommendations, and that's how we're going to pick our books today, and one for each of us. So we're going to begin, of course, as every video should begin, by going and getting our coffee. So we're going to grab coffee, and then we're going to head over to our first bookstore, which is Women and Children First. Women and Children First believes in the transformative power of literature. As intersectional, trans-inclusive feminists, we believe books are tools for liberation. Since 1979, we have celebrated and amplified underrepresented voices in order for feminism to remain relevant. It must be forever evolving. In our bookstore, we thoughtfully curate our selection of books. We offer a welcoming space for learning, dialogue, and reflection. We host author events. We facilitate community conversations. We strive toward feminist, equitable workplace. We partner with supporting schools and mission-aligned organizations. We are leaders in the localism movement, and we champion independent business. Okay, so we just went to Women and Children First, and we got this book bag. It was a lovely bookstore. They have a big selection. Did you like it?
Yeah, I always love it.
And so let us show you what we got. There was a lot of book recommendations in there that were books I either had on my TBR list or I already owned. So it did take a little bit to go through and find a book that wasn't already on there. So the book that I chose was in sci-fi fantasy. It was recommended by Ariel, and it is called Sky Papers by Janika Ajalu. So this is what an Ariel has to say about the book. I felt so seen by this book. Black punk queers yucking it up in NYC and London in the 90s. Incredible. And the sci-fi thriller elements are on point too. I'm so grateful to Janika for writing this. A phenomenal read. Please read it, Ariel. And so, hey Ariel, I will read it. Sky Papers. It looks really good. With a gritty imagination, Sky Papers merges race and class, queerness and anarchy, all while keeping a Philip K. Dickensian eye on the entities with the power to monitor and control our freedoms. All right. And it has all these little weird eyes and stuff on it. Looks good.
Lakewood by Megan Giddings.
Okay.
So this was recommended by Sarah. This debut novel masterfully uses horror, especially super creepy body horror, to lay bare the effects of racialized trauma. The story of Lena and her mother and grandmother and the impossible decisions they are shoved towards by racism and capitalism, how these structures forcibly remove people of color from their own bodies. reminiscent of Jordan Peele's terrifying film Get Out. But also this is a debut novel, and I've been wanting to read more new authors.
All right, so these are our two women and children first books. We have Lakewood by Megan Giddens and Sky Papers by Jamaica Ajalon. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go eat. We're going to a restaurant called Penelope's Taqueria. It is an all-vegan taco place, and it's downtown. After that, we're going to a bookstore called Open Books. There's 3 locations in Chicago for Open Books. One of them is in a neighborhood called Pilsen. And at that bookstore, every children's book is free, and adult books are pay what you can, which is incredible. Open Books' core values work in tandem to guide everything we do. As mutually reinforced beliefs, these values serve as our North Star as we serve children and families through formative literacy experiences. Open Books stands against hate and discrimination in any form. We exist in solidarity with all communities and people impacted by the injustices of racism, classism, sexism, homophobia, and bigotry. We commit to creating barrier-free education experiences rooted in literacy and encourage feedback from anyone in Open Books family as to how we can continually improve toward a more just environment. Hello, we're back. We just went to another bookstore, Open Books, here in Chicago. We are parked directly underneath the train tracks. So, this may be loud. The bookstore was wonderful. It's very pretty, a lot of shelves, but the staff selection was very, very tiny. And so it was kind of hard to pick a book out of the staff recommendations.
So I got Martha Wells' All Systems Red. This is a sci-fi novel. It's a, sort of like a futuristic dystopia where you're doing planetary exploration, but they go with the lowest bidder. And maybe the machines take over, maybe they don't. I don't know. We'll see.
So the book that I picked, I did try to stay within the range of the staff picks. So I got Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. The reason that I got this book is, number one, there was a staff pick, Convenience Store Woman. I just finished reading that book, I think last night or the night before, and it is a spectacular book. And this is by the same author. And so I thought, by proxy, I would get this one. I'm expecting a lot from Earthlings. I hope so, because I loved Convenience Store Woman so much. So that's the book I got. The next bookstore that we're going to is called Community Books. Matt and I both met while working at a union. Issues around labor and worker-led movements are kind of in our veins independently. So it worked out well that we got together. This bookstore is the very first bookstore owned by the people who run it. Like, it's a worker-owned bookstore. Pilsen Community Books was founded in 2016 as a general interest used bookstore in Chicago's beloved Pilsen neighborhood. In March 2020, Pilsen Community Books transformed into Chicago's only employee-owned and operated independent bookstore. The staff's goal is to unite their passion for bookselling with their belief that labor is entitled to all it produces. We're back. We just went to Community Bookstore. What an adorable bookstore. That is so far one of my favorite bookstores. It has big tall shelves with the ladder and beautiful selection. Everything is categorized so well.
Yeah.
I just love that bookstore. The children's book section was in the back, and it was surrounded by plants and windows. It was just such a pretty bookstore. All right, so let's go over what we got. Their staff recommendation section was teeny tiny, and they only had one plaque up about like the book that they were recommending. And then Matt made a very good point. The whole bookstore is owned by the employees, so everything is a book recommendation.
Yeah.
We took a little liberty with our rules, except for we still only bought one book each.
Yeah.
And a bag. And a shirt. Okay, so let's see what we got. Be Here to Love Me at the End of the World. This is a book that I had seen when we were in San Francisco that I really wanted to get, but didn't. This is a story about two young people burdened by debt, history, and pre-existing conditions. A government grinding into incoherent nepotism, wildcat strikes, biblically accurate angels, a haunted Italian castle, barely making enough to scrape by, and come home to find dinner ready. Sasha Fletcher's exuberant debut is about the exquisite beauty of being in love in a world that's falling apart. Just like us.
I've got The Lathe of Heaven by Ursula K. Le Guin. This was actually on the staff recommendation shelf.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
This is basically about somebody who finds that their dreams can alter reality.
Ooh.
Kind of like, what was that movie with Will Ferrell?
Fiction.
Stranger Than Fiction. The main character in the book finds that his dreams alter reality. He goes to see a psychiatrist about it, and the psychiatrist starts trying to alter his dreams because he wants that power to manipulate reality. And I was like, oh, this seems interesting. I should probably make this a priority. And it was a staff pick, so it's Kismet.
That's the books that we got. This is our adventure, our Saturday morning adventure. No, our Saturday day adventure. Thank you for coming with us. Thank you for watching us buy books and look at all of our fun carrying bags. Bye.